Geological timescale.
Events in Earth history are calendared according to the geologic timescale. It divides all of time into designated units of abstract time called eons, eras, periods, epochs, and ages, in decreasing order of duration.
The geologic timescale or geological timescale is a representation of time based on the rock record of Earth. It is a system of chronological dating that uses chronostratigraphy and geochronology. It is used primarily by Earth scientists to describe the timing and relationships of events in geologic history. Geologists start counting geologic time from Earth's surface downward, that is, starting with younger superficial deposits and descending into older rocks and deeper time. Geologists count back more than 4 billion years to the oldest Earth materials. Astronomers help geologists count even farther back to the time of Earth's formation, which may seem somewhat arbitrary because Earth did not appear instantaneously as a planet in space. Formal geologic time begins at the start of the Archean 40 billion to 2.5 billion years ago and continues to the present day. Modern geologic timescales additionally often include the Hadean Eon, which is an informal interval that extends from about 4.6 billion years ago, corresponding to Earth's initial formation, to 4.0 billion years ago. Understanding the depth of geologic time Earth's formation occurred 6 billion years ago. That's 4,600,000,000 or 4,600 million. You probably hear people use the number 1 million all the time, but a million is really big. Have you ever tried to count to a million? Counting once per second easy at the start, but tough when you reach the 100,000 mark. 24 hours per day, 7 days per week, no weekends off. It would take you 11 days, 14 hours to count to 1 million. There are 1,000 millions in a billion, so counting to a billion would take you approximately 32 years. And now we are going to talk about the 4 geological timescales. The Precambrian era, the Paleozoic era, the Mesozoic era, and lastly the Cenozoic era. Let us first discuss the Precambrian era. The Precambrian was the age of early life. During the Precambrian, continents formed and our modern atmosphere developed. While early life evolved and flourished, soft-bodied creatures like worms and jellyfish lived in the world's oceans, but the land remained barren. The Precambrian era comprises all of geologic time prior to 600 million years ago. The Precambrian was originally defined as the era that predated the emergence of life in the Cambrian period. It is now known, however, that life on Earth began by the early Archean, and that fossilized organisms became more and more abundant throughout Precambrian time. There are 3 types of breakdown of Precambrian time. The first one is the Hadean. The Hadean Eon is characterized by Earth's initial formation from the accretion of dust and gases and the frequent collisions of larger planetesimals, and by the stabilization of its core and crust and the development of its atmosphere and oceans. The second one will be Archean. Archean Eon, also spelled Archean Eon, the earlier of the 2 formal divisions of Precambrian time, about 4.6 billion to 541 million years ago, and the period when life first formed on Earth. Let's explore to what really happened during the Archean Eon. During the Archean Eon, methane droplets in the air shrouded the young Earth in a global haze. There was no oxygen gas on Earth. Oxygen was only in compounds such as water. Complex chemical reactions in the young oceans transformed carbon containing molecules into simple, living cells that did not need oxygen to live. And lastly, the Proterozoic. During the Proterozoic Eon, modern plate tectonics became active, and the ancient cores of the continents moved over wide areas of the globe, accumulating smaller fragments of crust and sometimes colliding with other large land masses. The opposite also happened, leading to continental rifting. That's the 3 types of breakdown in Precambrian time. Now let's talk about the Paleozoic era.
We are halfway through the discussion, so listen carefully.
The Paleozoic era. The Paleozoic began with the Cambrian period, 53 million years, best known for ushering in an explosion of life on Earth. This Cambrian explosion included the evolution of arthropods, ancestors of today's insects and crustaceans, and chordates animals with rudimentary spinal cords. During the Paleozoic era, 541 to 251.9 million years ago, fish diversified and marine organisms were very abundant. In North America, the Paleozoic is characterized by multiple advances and retreats of shallow seas and repeated continental collisions that formed the Appalachian Mountains. Paleozoic 541 to 52 million years ago means ancient life. The oldest animals on Earth appeared just before the start of this era in the Ediacaran period, but scientists had not yet discovered them when the geologic timescale was made. What are 3 things to know about the Paleozoic era? Trilobites were fading as fish became more diverse. The ancestors of conifers appeared, and dragonflies ruled the skies. Tetrapods were becoming more specialized, and 2 new groups of animals evolved. The first were marine reptiles, including lizards and snakes. What kind of life existed in the Paleozoic era, you ask? Let me explain it to you. Land plants evolved rapidly into the vacant niches afforded them on land. By the end of the Devonian, forests of progymnosperms such as Archaeopteryx dominated the landscape. By the end of the Paleozoic, cycads, glossopterids, primitive conifers, and ferns were spreading across the landscape. That's all for Paleozoic era. Next is the Mesozoic era. Here are some descriptions of the Mesozoic era. The ancestors of major plant and animal groups that exist today first appeared during the Mesozoic, but this era is best known as the time of the dinosaurs. What significant events occurred during the Mesozoic era? The Mesozoic era to 519 to 66 million years ago was the age of reptiles. During the Mesozoic, Pangaea began separating into the modern continents, and the modern Rocky Mountains rose. Dinosaurs, crocodiles, and pterosaurs ruled the land and air. Did humans and dinosaurs live at the same time? OFC no. After the dinosaurs died out, nearly 65 million years passed before people appeared on Earth. However, small mammals, including shrew-sized primates, were alive at the time of the dinosaurs. Moving on to the last era.
We are almost at the end of this discussion.
The Cenozoic era. The Cenozoic era is also known as the age of mammals because the extinction of many groups of giant mammals, allowing smaller species to thrive and diversify because their predators no longer existed. Cenozoic 66 million years ago until today means recent life. During this era, plants and animals look most like those on Earth today. Periods of the Cenozoic era are split into even smaller parts known as epochs, so you will see even more signposts in this era. Let us explore the events that happened during this era. The Cenozoic has seen the extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs and the rise of mankind. It is marked by the Cretaceous Tertiary extinction event at the end of the Cretaceous period and the end of the Mesozoic era. This era is the era of new life. I am going to present a video where the dinosaurs extinct and the rise of mankind begins.